1996, you guys released Creature. There's 4 singles: Leave It Alone, Resurrection, Tangerine, and Gasoline. Debuts at number 7. This is a top 10 album, 3 times platinum. And I have to share a story. So the first thing is, you can see the album cover here. So this is my wall of fame. These are my 12 favorite albums from guests that I've had on the podcast. So going back to the Jeff episode, I got that album up. And this album is actually one of the most important albums in my musical history, because I was just 11 years old when this album comes out. And I remember I had a CD Walkman and I owned just 2 albums. I had Moist, Creature, and I had Bush, Razorblade Suitcase, which I believe both albums came out in 1996. And I would be on tour buses for hockey going to tournaments. And I just had the 2 albums that I would go through one after the other. And this album, it just felt important. There was like an epicness to it, something about the sound. It just felt important, and it felt like I was a part of history. So I wanted to share that with you, how far back I go with this album.
That's wonderful to hear. That's the kind of impact on people that it's so always a pleasure to hear.
Yeah, I always thought, so up here I have Stain, Break the Cycle. So I was 16 when that came out, and that was, one of the first albums that I purchased with my own money that I loved. I felt like the lyrics and the singer, Aaron Lewis, that they were singing to me. So just with, our memories, they're not all accurate. And I always thought kind of the first album I really got into was that one. And it was only when going back to listen to Creature for the Jeff episode that I realized that, the Creature album I loved, and it predated that one by about 4 or 5 years. So I go way back.
Yeah, that was an interesting record to make. Very different from our first, obviously. It was our first major label record with a major label budget.